Let's bring ourselves into the center of the mat. Oh, went a little Moira Rose there. Of the mat. And we will do what we do at the beginning of every session, deliberately to calm ourselves and to get us into our yoga space, and that is to breathe. So when you're ready, let's take a nice long breath in through the nose. And a steady breath out. Maybe just lean back ever so slightly. Almost like you're only barely leaning back. And if it helps at this stage to close your eyes, then go for it. Give your eyes a little close. Otherwise, maybe just start to look a little bit further down towards the floor and dim your eyes. Now see if you can find a nice rhythm of your breath. So just with some steady breaths in and steady breaths out at a rate that works for you. And maybe also checking in with how your body is feeling physically as well as mentally. So you have a good picture and a good understanding of what your body feels physically and what it feels like mentally. And when you're ready, let's reach our arms up towards the ceiling, stretching our sides nice and long. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, pull that arm up a little higher, and then dip yourself over. Good, stay there. See if you can turn your body a little bit and look a little bit more towards the ceiling without straining. Good, and then come all the way back up. Swap over your hands, do the same thing, pull that arm up a little higher, and then drop over to the other side. Again, turning yourself a little bit towards the ceiling. And then come back to center. Good, let's bring our hands down by our side, pop them up onto the fingertips, and then just start to press your chest forwards, lengthening out your back as much as you can. And breathe. Good, let's reach your hands behind you and then use that reaching to curl yourself back up to your seated position. Good, let's take a little twist round to the left and then do the same round to the right. And then bring yourself back to center. Good, let's shake out our fingers and our wrists and move ourselves onto all fours onto the mat. Good, let's start to wiggle our tailbone. And then see those wiggles ripple up your spine so that your shoulders start to shake as well. And then see if you can find some fluidity in your body. Good. When you're ready, just bring yourself to a little pause, and then we're going to start to move cat-cow. So when you're ready, inhale, stomach dips, bum shifts towards the back of the room, look forwards. Good, as you exhale, lift from the center of your back, tuck your tailbone under, and look between your knees. Good, now just start to move at whatever pace you're breathing at. If you can, try and make your breath just a little bit more audible. Good, and then bring yourself back towards a neutral spine. Again, wiggle your tailbone. Send those ripples up your spine to start moving your shoulders as well. Good, and then you bring yourself back towards a stillness. Bring your hands a little bit further forwards, index finger pointing forwards, tuck your toes, take a long breath in and lift yourself up and back towards downward facing dog. Good, and breathe here. So long breath in, steady breath out. Good, now we're going to bring ourselves forwards, bending our knees, and we are going to hover our knees 2 inches away from the floor and stick our bum up towards the ceiling. Good, hold yourself here nice and steady. Suck your belly button towards your spine. Breathe. And then slowly lift yourself back and up, downward facing dog. Again, breathe. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Again, slowly move yourself forwards. Bend the knees, hover those knees 2 inches away from the floor. Stick your bum up towards the ceiling. Look forwards, belly button towards your spine. Hold yourself nice and strong. And then when you're ready, lift yourself up and back, downward facing dog. Good, last one of those. So draw yourself forwards, knees bent. Hover, stick your bum towards the ceiling. Breathe, broaden your shoulders if you can. And then lift yourself back into downward facing dog. Good, making sure you're pressing down every finger pad so as not to dump into your wrists. Good, gently just sway your tailbone from side to side. Maybe bending into each knee in turn to help loosen up the backs of your legs. Good. When you're ready, we're going to lift our left leg slowly up behind us. Extend it as far up as you can, keeping that heel pressing back. Press a little harder with your hands, and then nice and slowly draw that leg underneath you and step the foot up in between your hands. Good. Now slowly, let's rise up into a high lunge. Good. Start to slowly twist to the left-hand side, keeping high on your right toes. Good. Come back to center. Fold yourself back down towards the floor and shift yourself up and back into that 3-leg dog. Good. Bend the knee, open the hips to the side, breathe. Come high on your your right toes. Good. Square your hips back towards the floor and then bring your left foot back down. Good. Again, inhale, pull forwards into a plank. Knees can come down if you wish, or keep them raised. As you lower yourself down through a chaturanga, curl yourself back into a cobra. Good. Open your chest, relax your shoulders. Smile. Breathe. Good. Shift your hips high, tuck your toes, and move yourself back and up into downward facing dog. Good. Take a long breath in and let it go. Good. When you're ready, right leg lifts. Good. Keep that leg lifting. Right heel presses towards the back of the room. When you're ready, curl that leg underneath you. Step the foot up in between your hands. Good. Now strengthen your back leg. And when you're ready, lift. High lunge. Bend a little deeper into that front knee. Good. And then twist yourself out to the right-hand side. Hold everything nice and strong. Strengthen that left leg. Good. Come back to center. Fold slowly back down towards the floor. Shift that right leg back and up. 3-leg dog. Bend the knee and open the hips to the side. High on your left toes. Good. Before squaring everything back towards the floor. Bringing that foot down towards the floor. Pull yourself forwards into a plank. Good. Option to bring your knees to the floor here or keep them raised. As you lower yourself down and then back up into cobra. Open those shoulders. Relax your jaw. Breathe. Good. Then lift your hips. press yourself back into a child's pose. And breathe. Good. When you're ready, press your hands down into the mat and draw yourself back onto all fours. Good. Tuck both toes, but then lift and take back your left leg. Good. If you lift up your hip here, see if you can try and lower it and bring it square to the floor. Good. Now, when you're ready, we're going to curl that left knee underneath this, but then send it straight back and up. Curl it underneath, straight back and up. Curl it underneath, straight back and up. Good. Now, turn your hips to the left and come high onto your left fingertips. Good. This time, draw the left knee all the way up and see if you can tap your left elbow and then take it back. Draw it forwards, take it back. Draw it forwards, take it back. Last one, draw it forwards, take it back. Good. Square those hips back towards the floor, toes point down. Good. Curl that leg underneath and step the foot up in between your hands. If it doesn't quite make it, just use your hands to help you. Good. Take your right hand towards the top right corner of the mat. Bend deeply into your left knee. Turn to the left and reach left arm up. Breathe. Good. Then lower that hand back down towards the floor. Level your both hands so they're in line with each other. Lift the back knee away from the floor and then step yourself up towards the top of the mat. Good. Let's move into some half lifts. So when you're ready, hands onto shins or knees, whichever one you need to flatten your back and look forwards. Exhale to fold. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Good. When you're ready, bring your hands into a prayer. Draw them up towards your chest. Squeeze the hands together. Bend the knees nice and deeply and stick your bum back. And then turn to the right, seeing if you can hook your left elbow up onto your right knee. Breathe. And then come back to center. Good. Lower your hands back down towards the floor. Step both feet back into a plank. Again, option to bring your knees down and lower yourself down through a chaturanga and back into a cobra. Good. Breathe. And then shift yourself back into a child's pose. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Good. When you're ready, press your hands down into the floor. Come back up onto all fours. Tuck both toes. And when you're ready, right leg lifts and sends back towards the back of the room. Again, square your hips back towards the floor so the toes are pointing down, but keep that leg lifted. Good. When you're ready, curl it underneath and send it back 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now turn. Come high onto your right fingertips, turning your hips towards the right-hand side. Keep that leg nice and strong, and then do the same 3 movements, but this time taking your knee towards your right elbow. 1, 2, 3. Good. Send that leg back, turn back towards the floor, and then curl that leg underneath you and step the foot up in between your hands. Good. Let's slide our left hand forwards towards the top left corner of the mat. Bend deeply into your right knee. Turn to the right and lift your right arm up. Again, breathe. Good. Let's bring that hand back down. Good. Lift the back knee away from the floor and step yourself up towards the top of the mat. Good. We're going to move again into half lifts. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in Lift halfway, look forwards. Exhale, fold. Strong inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Strong inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Good. Now stay folded over your legs. Bend your knees deeply. Bring your hands together. Then bring them up to the chest. Squeeze those hands together and then turn. This time to the left-hand side. If you can, shift your elbow on top of your left knee. Into a twist. Breathe. Good. And then come back to center. Bring your hands back down onto the floor. Step both feet back into a plank. Lower yourself down through chaturanga. Curling yourself up and back into cobra. Breathe. And then child's pose. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Good. Press your hands down. Tuck your toes. Lift yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Right leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Curl it underneath. Step the foot up in between your hands. Let's lift into a high lunge. Pivot our foot out and come into warrior two. See if you can take your stance a little wider so that when you bend into that front knee, the knee can sit right over the top of your ankle and you can feel a stretch happening here. Good. Let's turn that front palm to face the ceiling. Windmill our arms back and then come back to center. Again, lift and center. Turn, lift and center. Last one, turn, lift and center. Good. We're now going to bend our right elbow, sink a little deeper into our right knee, maybe be able to bring our right elbow on top of our right knee, and then reach our other hand overhead. So we make diagonal. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, come all the way back. Warrior two. Good. Bring your hands onto your waist. Turn your right toes so they're now pointing in the same direction as the left. Good. And find some buoyancy in your legs. Good. We're going to reach our hands up towards the ceiling. Bring them into a prayer and then begin to sink down into a wide leg squat where you're taking your bum back and pressing your hands together. You may even be able to bring your elbows to rest down onto the inside of your thighs. Good. Let's reach ourselves all the way back up and squat again. Good. Reach all the way back up and squat. Good. Last one. Reach all the way back up and squat. Good. Straighten out your legs. Turn your right toes back towards the front of the room. Arms come out. Rebend. Long breath in. Lift your chest. And then exhale to pivot your hands down towards the floor, unplugging your back heel and sliding your right leg back into a plank. Again, option to bring your knees down as you take yourself down through chaturanga. Curl yourself back into a cobra. Good, tucking your toes, making your way back into downward facing dog. When you're ready, left leg lifts. Good, curl the leg underneath you. Step the foot up in between your hands. Inhale, let's lift. High lunge. Before pivoting out into warrior two. Again, taking your legs as wide as you can so that when you bend into that left knee, you feel a stretch on the inner thighs. Arms come out. Soften your gaze. Look over the top of your left hand. Good. When you're ready, we're going to turn our palm to face the ceiling. Tilt back, reach up, and then return to normal. Good, again, turn the palm, reach up, back to normal. Turn the palm, reach up, back to normal. One more, turn the palm, reach up, back to center. Good, let's start to bend deeper into our left knee. Left elbow connects with the top of the left knee. And then reach that right arm over to find diagonal. Breathe. Hold it here. Try your best not to put your weight down into that elbow. And if you can, just only lightly touch your knee. Good, slowly draw yourself back. Warrior two. Again, bring your hands to your waist as you turn your left toes to point in the same direction as the right. Good, we're going to do something slightly different. We're still going to reach our hands up to the ceiling and bring a prayer down towards our chest. But this time we're going to bend into each leg in turn, taking our squat over just to one side. So just move it from left to right. Nice and slowly. You should feel stretches happening on your inner thighs and maybe the outside of your legs as well. Good, when you're ready, bring yourself back to center. Turn that left foot back towards the front of the room. Bend into the front knee, arms come out. Deep breath in, lift your chest, and then exhale. Pivot, hands down towards the floor. Unplug your back heel and step yourself back into a plank. Option again to lower your knees or to take yourself down through chaturanga and then up into cobra. Long breath in, steady breath out. And then shift your hips back into a child's pose. And breathe. Good, and then when you're ready, draw your hands forwards. Flip your toes and take yourself back and up into downward facing dog. Good. We're going to lift our left leg up. Bend the knee and open the hips. Good. Now swoop this leg round and then see if you can step your foot up just a little bit to the left of center, behind your left hand. Good. Let's bring our right knee down and then start to shift that left foot further towards the left-hand side. So you can bring your left hand onto the inside of your left foot. Good. Now let's see if we can start to do just some simple movements forwards and backwards. So we're bending deeper into that front knee and stretching our inner thighs. If you want to take this a little bit more intense, you can lift the back knee away from the floor and do the same thing. If that's still not enough for you, then you can always come down onto your forearms and use that back foot to press you forwards and backwards. So find where your body is willing to go with this stretch. Good, and when you're ready, pop your right knee down if it's lifted. Come back up onto your hands if you've come down onto your elbows. Good. Then we're going to shift our hips back. We're going to take our hands with us and bring them up onto our waist. Good. See if you can hold yourself steady. And then press your chest forwards over your straightened front leg, or as straight as you can get it. for a slightly different stretch that's on the back and sides of that left leg. And then lift, rebend, hands come back down. Shuffle your left foot back in towards the center and then slide it back to meet the right knee. Hands come forwards, bum is still over the top of your knees, and then let your chest dip down into a puppy pose, somewhere between downward facing dog and child's pose. Breathe. Good, before slowly drawing yourself back up. Good, tucking your toes if they're not already tucked. Lifting yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Good, let's lift the right leg up. Bend the knee and open the hips to the side. Good, then swing that leg around and see if you can step the foot up in between your hands, just slightly more to the right. Lower your left knee down and then shuffle that right foot right over to the right edge of your mat. So you can bring your right hand into the left side of that right foot. Again, find that movement forwards and backwards. So we're bending into our front knee and then decide whether you're going to stay here, lift the back knee, or even come down onto your forearms and then continue to do that forwards and backwards motion. Listen to what your body wants. If it's too difficult to get low, then stay high. Don't try and force yourself into something your body doesn't want. And breathe. And wherever you are, if your back knee is lifted, drop it down. If you're on your elbows, come back up onto your hands. Start to shift your hips back and bring your hands up onto your waist. See if you can straighten out your right leg as much as possible. Take a deep breath in and lift your chest. And then exhale. Press that chest forwards over the top of your knee. Feel that stretch. Breathe. Here, before rolling yourself back up. Bend into that knee. Hands come down. Shuffle the right foot back into the center and then slide it back to meet the left. Hands come forwards and then dip your chest down towards the floor. Breathe. Good, and then draw your hands back. So you go onto all fours, untuck your toes, take your knees a little wider, and then sink yourself back into a child's pose. Breathe. And then when you're ready, slowly draw yourself back up so that you're sitting on your heels. Good, if this is an uncomfortable position for you, you can always do this next bit sitting on your bum. Let's take our right hand out towards the side, high on the fingertips. Lift our left hand over and then stretch to the other side. Good, then windmill your hands round and do the same thing on the other side. Or coming back to center. Option here to interlace your thumbs behind your back as you lift your chest and fold. If you didn't want to interlace your fingers behind your back, you can always just take them out to the side. And breathe. Before drawing yourself back up. Good, shifting yourself over onto your bum if you're not there already. Swinging your legs out. We're going to start with our right knee bent and take the foot a little bit wider here. So you have some space to bring your right hand onto the inside of that leg. Good. Now sit up nice and straight. Bring your hands down to the floor wherever they are when you're nice and straight. Good. Take a deep breath in and lift your chest. And then exhale to lean forwards as far as you can go. This may be not very far at all. Just breathe as you reach forwards. If you're able to take hold of your feet, great. Just see if you can get nice and low. Good, and then roll yourself back up. Swap over your legs. Bring the other knee in, your left knee in. Toes are nice and active on the right foot. Sit yourself up nice and high. And again, while sitting up high, hands come down. Take a long breath in. Reach your chest forwards. Bring your hands forwards. Breathe. Good, and then roll yourself back up. Take both legs out. Toes are active. Sitting up nice and straight. Take a long breath in and lift your chest. Exhale. Fold forwards. Hands come forwards as far as they're able to without drawing your shoulders right over the top of you. So keep your shoulders back. Hands can come forwards as much as they can from there. Folding from your waist and chest and not from your shoulders. Breathe. Good, then draw yourself back up. Good, bring your knees in so that the soles of your feet are touching and the legs are out to one side. Sit up nice and tall, either holding onto your feet or letting your elbows rest on the insides of your thighs. Wherever you are, breathe. Encouraging those knees to come further down towards the floor, stretching your inner thighs. Long breath in. Steady breath out. And then nice and slowly, let's draw your knees back up. Good, squeeze them in nice and tight. Making sure that your lengthways along your mat. Keeping those knees tightly tucked up by your chest. Bring your hands down so that you're reaching forwards and just the fingertips are touching the floor. Good. Now keeping your back as straight as you possibly can. Slowly begin to lean back, drawing your fingers, sliding them back along the mat until eventually you come all the way down towards the floor. And once you're fully down, bring those knees in towards your chest and gently rock yourself from side to side. then just gently bring your feet down onto the floor behind your bum, making sure your feet are roughly hip distance apart. Bring your arms down by your side and just reach your fingers towards your heels. It doesn't matter if you can't reach them. Then when you're ready, take a long breath in, press your feet firmly down into the floor, lift your hips straight up towards the ceiling into bridge pose, and bring your chin closer towards your chest to stretch out the back of your neck. Holding it here nice and steady. Keep lifting those hips. Before slowly lowering those hips back down towards the floor. When you're ready, start to send your left leg out and down onto the floor. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and take hold of it with just your left hand. And slowly begin to move that leg across your body, keeping your right shoulder blade flat down on the floor. Taking your right hand out to the right hand side and turning your head to the right to look at that hand. And breathe. Before drawing that leg back. Swapping over your legs. So bringing your left knee in, squeezing it up. Starting to draw that leg across the body. Same thing as before, keeping that left shoulder blade this time flat down. Taking the left hand out towards the left hand side, turning to look at that hand. Before drawing leg back, and slowly reaching both legs out this time. Bringing your hands down by your side. Taking a long breath in through your nose. And then letting go. And then bringing yourself back to that breath rate that you measured at the beginning. And once your breathing rate is back, start to let it become automatic and uncontrolled. Loosening all the muscles in your body, letting them melt and sink down into the mat, including your jaw and your tongue, smoothing out your forehead and letting your eyeballs sink back towards the floor. And letting your mind wander. And slowly starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes and your nose. Starting to draw a deep breath in through your nose and fill your chest. And then let go. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, draw your knees back in towards your chest. Move yourself over to either the right or the left-hand side. Pressing yourself up to a seated to a seated position like you took at the beginning of the class. Either letting your hands rest on your knees, in your lap, or in a prayer. And then let's take one long breath in together through the nose. A nice steady and long breath out through the mouth. Begin to flutter your eyelids open. Thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and whatever you have planned on this weekend. But to all of you who joined us today, and most importantly, to yourselves, we can bow and say, Namaste. Thanks everyone.